So I've been busy doing a couple other things. Still got a lot to do here. I did make a brake light switch for the emergency brake, okay? And this is this all in here. I have a feeling after I tightened it, I realized it might be slightly off. I don't know. Depends how I hold this phone. It's going to be hard to bend that back, but I'll see. It's probably fine. I'm waiting for a bushing here. I got the switch, but I'm waiting for the bushing to put in between there. Right in here. And I did put this thing in, but look at the brake light I put in. It has 3 lights in it. And I got an old school brake light that didn't, I ended up not realizing it didn't have the what do you call it? You know, it didn't have the actual light fixture for it. But then I decided to buy this other guy, which was all a pain in the ass to put in because of I had to put the stainless steel washer because this is as big as it gets. Other than that, it's like 22 millimeter. This was 16 millimeter. And maybe if I drill this out, but it was a little harder to to do that. But at least it says brake, and it kind of looks old school. And then when you drive, it's going to be green all the time. Okay, so when it's green all the time, and you can't really tell, it's I don't think it's that bright, but hopefully it's not blinding. I would just probably fill in with black marker if anything. But it's going to be threefold. So basically, the other colors override it. Okay, so like just to show this guy here, this red one, that's going to be from the brake proportioning valve switch. And when you hit it and you ground it, and of course I don't actually have this grounded. I have to. So if you ground it, I'm trying to fucking find it. Come on, get in the hole. See? Turns red. And it doesn't quite look like red. It looks really bright, but it's really not bright. But it goes from green to red. If you use the red, it'll override it. And I'm using the switch. This is normally open, normally closed, so it has both. So right there, you see the clip on the top that's grounded. That's where I was trying to put it to. But you have one that is the yellow one here. So when you pull the emergency brake now, boom, it goes from green to yellow. So now you know the emergency brake is going to be a yellow light, amber light. And then this red one here, now I'm curious, I don't know if I figured this out or not. I believe the red overrides all of them, or it has both with the red and the orange. Yeah, I think it kind of has both, but no matter what, the main thing is the main brake failure. And man, you can't really see it on here. See, that's... How do I do that? Do I just zoom in on this? Or it's just a... Yeah, so that's red. Yellow. These wires are so tiny. So it's red right now, which is really hard to tell, but I think it's incorporated. Yeah, I think both are on. Yeah. So the red overshadows everything anyway, but basically when you pull the emergency brake, that goes to green, and if this thing trips and the brake failure is there, it will override. Oh wait, I got to do it on the other one. See? Red, green. Very hard to tell on the camera, but it's going to be pretty cool. So basically, when you drive and it's green, it says brake is green, so it has no failures. Now, just in case there's something weird, it can be eliminated. It can be just simply unplugged from the switch if it's too bright or whatever. And you know what it is? It'll be red when it has a failure, and it'll turn yellow when it has or amber when it has the brake on. So basically, that's the only place I could possibly put it when I made my own switch. But that is mad cool. So just wanted to throw that in there. Still waiting for some other things. I did get this guy here is the relay that's going to have a 10-second delay for for the lights in here, but like I have so many problems getting. Now I've ordered another set. I spent $160 on just these freaking switches, more than that even. But yeah, I'm going to start crimping these connectors onto the switch and hook up this guy here, which is the light for the warning light. It says brake warning light. So this will go to the red, and then you have the other two are on, and then this is just the white one has to go to power with the key on. There'll be a dash circuit. The people with no shame, it's just incredible. This was supposed to be an original Ford part. There is no Ford part number. You can tell that it was broken off a collection right there, a little tab. Okay, and Chinese ones are fine. I was going to buy a Chinese one, but this guy had a package of 4. They were white in a Ford bag, and then afterwards I happened to read that it was not going to come in a Ford bag. It came in a Ford bag, but he used a hot glue machine, a hot gun, whatever, a hot machine to seal back a plastic bag here, and he had it in here to make it look like it was in a Ford package, but it was completely fraudulent. This is a Chinese part, and he's selling it as an original Ford when it should be white, and it probably shouldn't even be this deep, but that's besides the point. The point is that this guy's a fraud. Well, this sucks. I'm rounding everything up here. I got the copper line for the oil over. I got an extra wire going out here. This is for the, potential washer. Everything else is kind of draped out of the way. I took out the light and the ignition. I'm probably going to move the secondary fuse box over. And I disconnected the switch. I put the switch on. Everything's, going good with this. I got to get a plug for it, or just use 2 individual ones. It depends on the room. And everything, according to my calculation, seems to be working, as far as it fitting in there. But apparently, I still can't get it in. And it kind of seemed hard to believe that I would actually get it all in here. But the problem is the mounting points. You have to clear them in order to get it passed. And it's like the revelation of like, oh, man. So I keep hitting them, and then I have to go back. Then I hit the brake pedal. So this is a problem. I'm going to take out the electric steering bolts and see if it'll feed up through that way, but it's the more I look at it, probably not. I don't know if it'll make any other room, but I just got to think about this now. Because now I'm kind of upset because I did a lot of work to get this to be this way. And these things technically unscrew. In fact, they unscrew by hand. Look at this. That's all it is. Obviously I wouldn't do it to all 4. I wouldn't need it to do to these 2. And this is the top one or the side one? It's the top one. The side one was kind of in the way too. I don't know, maybe I'm going to do this first. I was almost going to start taking this shit apart. And then the more I'm looking at it, I'm like, how the hell am I going to get it up and turn it and all this other shit, And I'm pretty sure it came out the side there. Obviously with all this room in the back there, you have room to do what you got to do. But I'm hoping that I can somehow get these to fit in there. It's either that or I got to make something different than these to make that work. I don't know. That was the top. Yeah, I got it in by hand. I got it out by hand right here. This is interesting. Oh, look at this. It holds the molding at the same time. That's interesting. How does that work then? Is there any way? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, Jesus. Which one did I just take out? There's a long one and a short one. I'm assuming it's the same on this side. Short. Yeah, long on the top. All right, let's see what happens. Well, it seems that the very, very tip here, obviously once I took those out, I got it in like up to here. And then see this is out because it hit it. And I might have to move all three of these. I'm just trying to see in relation to where the speedometer is. The last one is pretty much here. It's just, because it's on an angle, it's just tight there to the top. I mean, I just hope I can get these to, go back in, obviously. But if I tuck them away here, it may be doable. It really depends. I assume this one I would, because the oil line is right there. The oil line keeps getting hooked. Also, it's like I put this stuff here, but it's like hard going onto this, And I'm thinking it's all the way below it, but it's just the path that it's got to do to kind of squeeze by here. So I'm debating whether to run all these wires. I had these other ones up top here, and then I zip tied them to the bracket, but it's so close to the wiper transmission, especially on just one little spot, to the left of this. I don't know if anybody's seen, but everything's pretty close. I'm wondering if I can dip it under here, at least for now. I don't want to, mess up my little tiny, skinny wires for my brake light. I also tape these together, so it's kind of tall. I might be able to untape it. It's not terribly necessary. I was just making it easier on myself. But that might help. I think moving the brake pedal back definitely helped. I got to still get this guy in, and I'm not exactly sure I do it. I think my hand can kind of get in this area here, but this is, again, where the wiring is. I was thinking that maybe I can catch it once I get it to a certain point, and I know I can get it past, then I should be able to tighten this. Although it's, the speedometer's got to pretty much be here. And it's not a lot of room, but I have to, if I just had enough room to get my hand in there to get this started, maybe. See, originally, I could swear I got the thing out from this side over here, but then I started remembering, and I was like, gee, I think I did move it all the way sideways, because I had these two out, and I was like, how the hell does this thing even come out? Like, it was really difficult. But then when I started realizing I had to do wiring and took the stuff out, I was like, oh, now it comes out. So, and I had taken this out thinking, okay, this is just going to come out, and then I'll get it out from the front, and it's not the case. I'm tempted, though, to take out the other things just to see what I can see, or maybe something can be different. What I was thinking of is, and of course, would it all fucking fall as I laid on the... God damn it. When shit falls in this car, it fucking disappears. Of course, it doesn't help that I got a mess, and I lost the fucking lock washer, but... What I was thinking is because I believe it's the same thread on the side, 1032s. If I just get a long 1032s bolt with a spacer in here, maybe I can do that, That way I can kind of poke it in somehow. That's not sure. This is really stupid, the way they put this molding in. Well, we'll see what happens once I have these out and I try it, and take it from there. This is so fucking frustrating. I'm that far in, and it's like all scratching on that fucking thing. Yeah, I've tried different angles. I'm just gonna try to look with this light, and I really... I hear it hitting something here, but it's almost like it's hitting the frickin' defogger thing more than anything else. I'm not 100% sure. It's like I really need a light that I'm not holding, But it's like extremely close. And granted, I don't know how I'm going to put those bulbs in and whatnot, the speedometer cable, but I'm still... just trying to get it physically in. What's fucked up? I'm the fucking oil line keeps disappearing. it keeps. I'm wondering if it's like a hook that it's like hooking it. This is ridiculous. Ah, man. Ugh, I don't like the way that felt right there. Like every time I move that, it seems funny. See, and I just unhooked the oil line again. It just keeps fucking moving. I bent it like practically fucking flat, and it just keeps hooking. It's right there. I feel like it's something on the bottom here, like right where this emergency brake is. The thing is, I got wiring here too where the emergency brake thing is, and but right there, that's the hard part. What is it hitting right there, son of a bitch? Oh my god, it's hitting the fucking support. And that's the original support. It should technically clear it, but I guess, because I crowded it, maybe I can angle it. I gotta get some hands on this. So I'm plugging these three back in because I'm wondering now if it's really a problem. But what definitely seems to be a problem, this is hitting this right here. And for whatever reason, I guess because I can angle it more. If I angle it this way, it puts that larger part over here as opposed to here where it's shorter. And then I can't go up because then I do hit this. So I'm either going to have to remake that support or eliminate it completely, which is probably not a huge deal. But it's more so for keeping the integrity of the steering right. And recently I just found out that I think the reason why I had a little hard time getting the electric steering to start, the steering box is loose. And the thing is, I nailed down those bolts and they felt funny. And it's a very thin chassis and there's sleeves in there, but they're not very big. So you fucking wing it down, you crush the sleeves. But I think in this case, whereas the whole column was all one piece and now it's divided by this thing here that can make it flex. Now it has the opportunity to move, and that's what was binding. So I think I may have to take all that out, drill it out, put fucking bigger spacers in there, and then really wing down the bolts so the steering box stays where I bolted. Because if it can just move haphazardly, that means everything's being crushed. And man, what a pain in the ass. I just, after putting all this stuff in, it's a certain height, blah, blah, blah. That's going to be a real fucking pain in the ass, because now everything's got to start coming out again over here for this whole support, which I tied the support for the electric steering in as well. So now I got to try to come up with something else. Not quite sure. I could probably put a piece of metal behind here, weld it to it, and then cut out the tubular part. But I got to pull everything apart again, so that's a lot of fun. And it's the last day of May, or next to the last day of May, May 30th, and it's fucking cold. I got a headache, and I've been at it all day here. What time is it? 4:47. I think, tomorrow's like a car show, a local car show I want to go to. Sunday. I'm like, man, everything looks so good. And listen, I think I did pretty good. I got it like up to here. But it's just like this thing here hits this and it doesn't want to go around. So it's probably going to be an issue, And I suppose if I could just butt weld something up against this and at some point cut that section out so that this thing can go where it needs to go. There's just the tip here that's hitting it. It looks like, it kind of looks like you can fit it, but I don't know, it's tough. I don't know if maybe, you know what, it's a possibility is all this wiring here, if it got relocated, then it can go down. That's an interesting thing. I'm just trying to think, where can I put it then? I might be able to fish it back through. I mean, I don't think it'll be in the way once it's passed, but it's just getting this thing in initially, because it's hard to put it in the back, it's hard to put it in the front, but it'd be harder. It'd be just as hard to try to loop this through somehow. Obviously, individual wires, if I started unwrapping everything, probably would work. We'll see. So I got the two electrical steering parts out of the way, and I don't want to loop them on the top because it's not really permanent. It could be, it could go bad, and you could change it. So I don't want to put it like way up, in the boonies there. Now all this I'm putting flat against here, which it might have its challenges, but it might be doable. And I'm just thinking now, if I give myself this much room down here, overall may improve this whole experience. So we'll find out. I took out at least one of the bulbs again, unplugged it, but I have a feeling that without taking that brace out, I mean, I'm hoping just loosening the bottom part here might work, but I don't know. It's not going to be very tight. It's going to be pretty tight up there, so I don't know how it's going to not move. I mean, it's also over a stud on top of everything. So, yeah, like a lot has got to happen for that to go past that. I mean, I just pushed this kind of down. It's not down on this side per se, which I'm not quite sure why. Why I can't get it there. I don't know if it's hitting one of these other. Yeah, I think it's hitting the other. Okay, I just unplugged that bulb. Thing is, it's not going down here, but I think it's just the way it is. It's there's no room. It's right on. Yeah, it's right here. It's right on top of the emergency brake. Yeah. And it's not like you unscrew this and it just comes down. It doesn't. It's through the dash. When this pulls, that's just the center part. I mean, it's threaded over there. I mean, hate undoing things that I just did. I guess I'm supposing now that there might be a lot more room with the emergency brake out. Thinking, where's it's probably covered up by the power booster. Yeah, the only thing I see is, hang on a second, it's lower. Fucking harness in here. Yeah, I guess that's a nut there. It's all loose anyway because because it was holding in by the original master cylinder, which I'm probably able to put in to get back in there. But yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying originally. I said, it seems like something's holding it up right here. And sure enough, when you look at it this way, it's like it has some room there. This is just fucking big and square, and it's just right there. Just trying to think. No, it wouldn't go out that side. I guess if I start unscrewing screws, see what happens. I definitely think it's that thing. I loosened this one bolt just to see, and the hole was when I lifted it up and down. It is right on it. I don't know if that's the end all, because no matter what, if I go down, it hits it more. I really need to go up anyway, and it looks like it's way out, but it's closer than you think when I start playing with it. But This is stupid. My God. I don't know if it's a matter of rotating it, perhaps. Maybe that's why it's not in the right place, but mind-blowing. Fucking mind-blowing. Really didn't want to take apart all this shit either. You know, particularly with the emergency brake. You know, I can deal with taking this out, and I was taking it out with the cluster in, you know, because I had to keep unbolting these two bolts to get all this shit out, and it would tilt down. So I feel that it's doable and all that stuff, but you know, ultimately I wanted it to be, you know, user friendly type of stuff, you know. Sometimes it's difficult to do this, I tell you. It really is. Then you scratch things up and everything. Not that this is not a show car, and I'm not in control of the body or interior or anything like that. So very, very frustrating. But it's close, and it seems doable. Like I said, I might be able to screw in these guys. You know, these guys here, no problem. At least on that side. This side, I am hitting it on that side. Like, you know, like I have to kind of go up and around it, but it doesn't seem to be, you know, the reason why there's a problem there. You know, I mean, it's like technically the bottom one, I can, the top one here is going to be really hard to get back in if I ever did something like that, you know, but it's hard enough to get to the bolts, you know. And this guy's got I don't know exactly what I'm doing here, because, oh yeah, no, this shouldn't be touching this won't be touching it, so it's not an issue. Anywho, I'm just still trying to figure things out, and hopefully it's just a matter of taking out that bar. You know, we'll find out. Well, that's what I did. Get that heavy flat bar, the same stuff I had left over from the brake pedal, so it ain't bending. And I welded it first, and then cut the section out, and then welded it up. Hopefully I didn't put too much. You know, hopefully this is all, but you know, it's so thick that I can actually grind it now. You know, grind the space on it to make it, you know, in the right place. I mean, make it, you know, the right, a groove to make it have the right, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a word that's big and that I don't usually use. I'm looking for something that just reveals the ability to pass through, you know, so it's not in the middle of that thing. I'm not quite sure why that's even a thing, because it doesn't even look like it would have an easy time originally coming out. Other than, you know, I guess tipping it, you know, I don't know. Why didn't they think I was going to be doing this 70 years later? Now I took out all the stuff. I'm just letting that paint dry, and then I'll test fit. I'm just going to try to put it in loosely and then stick it through and see what happens, and start putting it back together. I don't know if now that I have the brake pedal basically unbolted, if I was talking about, you know, maybe it's a touch off, you know, from my bend, but gotta heat it up, and then I gotta clean it up and repaint it, and I don't know if I'll go through all that. It's minor, but I don't want to keep going back and forth. But I have to tighten. Now I know I got to tighten it to see where it really is, you know, because like right now it looks fine, you know, and when you tighten it, for some reason, it's kind of in the wrong place. Just a touch. Like, you can't even notice it practically, but I notice it. There's a nice round, like the original one, a round one. You would never even notice that, you know. All right, time to let it dry and then try it. All right, well, I just kind of laid it in there. It's loose, as you can see, but after looking at a video, it was funny. I was like, you know what? I was supposed to do this right near the bend. Yeah, other than it was a little bit up from the bend, but I don't know. This all might be in the way here. I might have to take off a half inch or so. But what else is new? Okay, so got it a lot further, and I'm pretty sure it did work. Yeah, like it definitely could have been lower. I'm gonna probably have a hard time trying to get it out now. Trying to see where my... It's like just gonna make it, I guess. Yeah, it should be high enough. And the thing is, it's not on top of it. It's like it's right where it is now is pretty much where it is, and then it's going to be over in the middle here. Hopefully, I get my hand in there to be able to tighten that shit. But now I got to put everything back. All right, so it's in place. It's lined up to these two holes, and I will have no problem putting those two studs back in on this side. Once I find them, I got a lot of little shit. I got to find the bolts I bought for the hold on to the ends there. They're 1024 nuts. But I was able to clip on this directional signal light when I had it this far, and at the end I was able to just get in the directional on this side, but there was no way for me to get this guy in. It'll clear right now, so I think I'm going to unbolt this and drop it down. I got to unbolt the two bolts there and the two nuts on top of there. I just assume take out the thing again, probably. I may or may not do that. I don't know. Just to make it easier to take out these bolts, because these two you fight with. What's the sense of fighting it both ways? If this went in pretty well, I don't see an issue with it. And still had to keep fighting a lot with this oil line, and it looks like I got to put more length on the oil line, and it's got to go up higher, and it's definitely binding every single time I put this thing in. So I want to try to make it so it's not really, binding. Oh, that just came free from something, as it was giving me a real headache. But where's the thing? Oh, it's up higher. Yes, it's right around there. And I wrapped this thing, this oil line, in like electrical conduit, and it had its own little rubber thing on it. I don't want it to hit anything because I got a lot of power running through everywhere, and, God forbid, So I think I'm going to take it out again and lower this guy down. Because then I also have to tackle the whole thing with the steering box being loose, and I'm not quite sure how I'm doing that. I'm kind of hoping that I can just put really heavy washers on the other side and it won't collapse, but I'm not sure. It just seems so easy to bend this chassis. Even when I was doing the training cross member, I bought sleeves and they weren't really heavy sleeves, but that was part of the problem. But that's exactly the same sleeves they put in these things. They just bend so easy. What's that? What were you doing? Give me your own? Nobody pets you? I know. All right. Lots of stuff. And I plugged in the amp light, but that's the other light that goes for the oil. And it's all relatively accessible, and I should be able to put in the switch for the hairy. I should be able to put in the switch, because right there would be the switch, and it's well, you know what it is? It's actually hiding above. And nice. I fucking must have dropped this the bushing. Plus, it's still on the brake pedal, and of course, it's not. And I gotta find that, along with a bunch of other stuff. It'd be very useful for me to start organizing this, because I'm just, it's frustrating when you do a job like this and it just seemingly takes forever. And You're not really that neat to begin with. Yeah, so I got to find that too. So it's probably didn't fall all the way down. That's my guess. Because I kind of remember looking at it and I say, is that off? You know? So definitely is. So unless I moved it somewhere, I feel like I did, but then I don't see it. I had the Hitchman clip that I had bought for that right here with that, and I'm pretty sure I didn't put them all together. I thought I left it in there because I thought it was going to go 1, 2, 3, and of course it did not. Anyway, until the next time I can work on this, probably not tomorrow, but I also got a few other cars I got to work on during the week, so I may not get to this for another week or so, or by next weekend. So I didn't actually have to take out the bulbs for the dash there. Something's hitting here. Oh, maybe the brake pedal. Oh yeah, that was definitely it. And see, I was able to just maneuver that a certain way to get the first two. And I guess I tipped it forward here. Still coming out at the end here. I don't know if it's just because I got a lot of shit here. I'm going to put the phone down for a second. Okay, so these, got it to move over the last bit. And let's see. Yeah, everything's clear. Now that I got the electric steering unbolted, of course I can't see the... Oh, that's probably what's hitting. It was kind of pulling it. I think I had it like on the long side. Thing is, I made it shorter. I don't know if you can see. Hang on. It's also not like as lined up as I'd like it to be. Probably because I made my own things there, you know, but I don't see any other hole that was close to this. But it's a little tight in its nook, if you want to call it. I don't know if... Hang on a second, let me zoom in. Can you see my fingers? There I am. I it's like I got it in the hole here. I need to... I've been pulling it in and out. Yeah, I gotta just push it in a little bit. And then should change that angle. Hopefully this is not all binding. I really didn't lube the cable. I know it's old, but it's new old. They usually have some kind of grease in it. I saw grease at the end. Overall, I think I'm going to need 2 hands. But it's doable now with this down, and everything. And it was crazy is that I didn't have to worry about the bulbs there. I felt the second bulb when it went through, and maybe putting the camera like this. I can't really see, so I'll have to... is that the... I'm not 100% sure. Oh, I see the wire. Yeah, that looks like it's in. I just got to get the speedometer in, and I think most of the hard stuff is done then. Now, okay, got it. But I know for a fact that The old one, I was able to unscrew with my fingers, and I think that's a safe bet here, because I wouldn't want to, you know, fuck up the next guy, which was probably myself, or something along those lines. I guess I really don't know. I should put it in. I just put it in a little bit further, because it's got to kind of, it's kind of like at an angle, so I got to come, it's got to be longer in order to come down and around. You know, it's yeah, in fact, it might even make a bigger loop if I push it in more. I'm not 100% sure this is that great. I'm trying to think where the original hole was. I thought it was there, because I just made the original hole bigger, but it might have not been so tight in this type of connector here. I said by pushing more, sometimes you give yourself an S, but doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be able to deal with the angle here. Now, it's not that big of an S just yet. I think I can technically go more. I'm having a hard time pulling it. I just pulled. But now this is kind of off. So that's the other thing. I may want to unscrew it and then get the whole thing in before I mess with it. Although I won't have the flexibility of the what do you call it? Yeah, I can't even turn this. Well, that's an issue. It's either that or I got to make a new hole for this to go through. Yeah, I can't even turn this. I'm curious if I push in more. Everything is fucking fighting me. Okay, so I just pushed in a whole bunch. It's not looking good in that sense, so I'm gonna be pissed because I put her through with everything, and I just realized now that that might be a fucking problem. See, now I put it in a lot more. I would think that this gives me less stress, although there's still stress because it's still a tight fit no matter which way you slice it. But I was thinking if I can get it to come up and around and downish, it'll be a gradual loop. But I just realized I put everything through here, and this might have not been the best idea. So if it goes again, it would have to be, cut out and then put in a new place, because I can't really remove the whole harness just for this. I mean, I suppose if I keep pushing more in, it might get easier. Like if I'm able to just... Wow, it's just... Unless I don't have that end in properly. And of course, I still want this. This is a really long cable, and I really wanted to still be able to reach the tranny, of course. I can't keep putting it in until I can't, then I don't have anything. Yeah, you would kind of think if it's snaked a certain way, it wouldn't be terrible. The only thing is, I'm kind of wondering if I really... I gotta have the end in. It wouldn't have fucking screwed in. Oh. I don't know if I should put a pair of pliers on it. I think I'm moving it. Yeah, I'm actually... Yeah, where it wasn't going anywhere before. This is not very ideal, though, so I'll have to perhaps address this. I can't believe it. Now that I think about it, I'm like, why did I do that? Boy, that sucks. This was a new old stock thing. It really wasn't that loose to begin with, but they're pretty freaking durable, these metal ones, you know, from the time period. So I'm hoping it works. Well, got to spin it left. Oh, I'm on speed 1. I'm like, oh. Well, it's amazing how much difference that makes. The initial hit was one thing, but seems to work. That's good enough for me because I need something to go right. Now, that being said, once I get this in the transmission, then I can put more in the dashboard. I don't want to just put more right now until I know I can get this in the other side there. You know, they used to sell might have it, but it may not even be here. It might be in my old toolbox at home, but they have a thing that you put on there and you grease it, and you know, but it is tight in there and everything. But it is able to move in and out, so it can't be that tight, you know. But it was the angle more than anything else, and I'm not quite sure. There was no other hole where the power booster was, unless there. Well, I made that hole there, but I don't know. There was nothing underneath it, you know, because it's significantly down from there. Oh shit! The whole time, that's what it was. Oh fuck me! I knew there was another fucking hole, and every time I looked, I couldn't see it. Now that I used the light, it was right there. It looked so obvious on camera. And I just made a new hole here today for that oil line, and I'm like, I swear there was another hole here. And I just went through all the struggle to make this hole. Ugh. Now what? If I were to take this out, oh, these are power lines. So it's not impossible, but it's not, it's really not ideal. I might have to do that. Oh, I feel like it's such a dummy. I knew there was a fucking another one, because I'm like, I have another, like one of the original ones that look like this, with the 2 screws, which I don't know if I'll use it, but if I do, I believe that's where the oil line went, and I moved the oil line. I wanted to put the oil line to it. I'm like, I must have fucking used up the hole, and I just bent up the fucking oil line to get it to go where I wanted to, but it would have been better if it was not. But here's the thing, though. That hole, which now I mean, it's right under the power booster, so I think it's in line with the brake pedal. I'm like, where the fuck is this thing? Oh, there it is. It was fucking right here. And it was on, that's why I couldn't see it. But this is right where the speedometer cable is, which makes a lot more sense. It can loop. It can loop like that. If it works, it works. But it really isn't where it was. And that's why I'm like, I can't believe it. Because it was cut off here. And I'm like, I swear there was something going on here. The oil line would not be good going here probably, because I really need to go up and over, you know. Well, ultimately, this is, for everything that I've done on this dashboard and behind it, this is all good stuff. This is all going to work, you know. This is amazing how everything I did worked. And I'm basically, you know, kind of do the shit on the fly kind of guy, you know, where I think, I look at pictures and I try to get an idea in my head, and it's amazing. And the shit I put together, you know, works, you know. So, but I'm cold right now, and I'm kind of not feeling that well. So at least I got an idea what's going on here and what I got to do. But now I realize I fucked up that thing, you know. But, you know, maybe I'll even move the oil thing, although then I made the new hole for the other one. Man, I'm batting 1,000. But I still think the oil line is a good thing to have separate. And it was be coming up here and go down there. So, and there's going to be a problem with the end. And the end that I realized it's like 3/16. It's not 1/8. I thought it said for oil pressure switch, for oil pressure gauge, and it's not really for that. So I may have to take a look and see what else I got. I'm sure I have something else. Well, in a couple of days, I had to pick up this this Cadillac. And I got a little more done. I got a little more knowing what's going on here. I don't know what fucking happened to the goddamn bushing I fucking overpaid for, because it's fucking gone. I did take out the speedometer cable out of this thing. I had all the wires out. I put them all back in. I'm going to feed it through the other one that I showed you before in the center of the car, and that'll be a straight run into the thing, because it comes out through here. See this? I got the oil thing going to come through there. That's going to come through there. I got the rubber thing inside here somewhere, and I'm going to put that on. I got to paint the little hooyah. But the big news is I've been going crazy over is these buttons here. Now, what was the difference? Well, this button is one button, one thing. Like these have two, so I would have had to put my own ground. I kind of like that because now it just gets the ground from the car. But these would have been fine. They're a little ugly because they extend past, but they don't reach the freaking. This sticks out noticeably different, noticeably more. I gotta go that far before that even touches. And then this guy was the first one I put, and it was fitting just fine. It looks exactly like this, but it's the opposite. When you open the door, it shuts off. When you close the door, the light goes on. Pretty fucked up. And then I have this other one that was working fine, has a different wiring connector. So I changed the wiring connector, has these flat ones. And then I drilled out the holes, 9270, except it doesn't fit. Like this is 1.5 inch distance, not 1 3/8. So yes, I could have drilled a hole here and I'll belong to that hole maybe a little bit, and you probably wouldn't have noticed it, but I was just like, I did have to drill out the hole one size to use these, but I don't know. I just felt better using it. It was a minor amount. I probably could have just used these, But, these can be prone to slipping out, something like that, where the other one has the loop, eye loop on it. So these are in. And ultimately, just to show you, I gather, it's got to be all hooked up to this guy here. So I put this ground on here. If you look in the mirror, okay. So, where am I? Okay, take off the wire, it goes down. I got this switch over here. And when I hit the switch, oh wait, I gotta ground it on the car first. Okay, so light. Oh, hang on a second. What's going on here? I got this holding up. This wire is not working yet. Oh, I have that door open. Ha 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 ha. Okay. And that door is closed. Okay, yeah. So that we close that door. That guy goes out. When I have the switch on. That's pretty awesome. And of course, this is the only one that's left, which I'm going to tie into the system, which I'm going to have my whole complicated thing where all this shit turns on and whatnot. And I did get the relay in for that. And now you can see that guy's on. And I can't reach the button. I can maybe use my foot. Yeah. Now it's going to work. So, and the way I have it set up, in fact, well, I don't have the front lights hooked up yet. So, the way I'm going to have it is that when you open the back doors, just that light goes on. When I open the front doors, all the lights go on. These guys go on. And there's going to be 2 opera lights here. Those are going to go on. And it's going to be a 10-second delay on the front. Not sure if it would have a delay in the back. Don't think so. Yeah, no, it's not going to have a delay in the back. So the front, when you open the door, all the lights will turn on. It'll be a delay for 10 seconds after you close it, and going to be pretty cool. So I can't believe I left the bushing in here, and I cannot find the goddamn thing. Doesn't make any freaking sense. All I was doing was sliding in that thing, and that's obviously how I lost it, how it fell out. And I'm like looking at every nook and cranny here. I'm like, where the heck could it be? And so now I ordered 2 more, and I'm like, hopefully I find it before then. But I can't win for losing lately, I tell you, you know. But all in all, I'm real happy. I keep finding solutions for everything. I just don't know. I was kind of rough fitting when I had the cluster in today, but it really wasn't all the way up. It's going to be very close with the switch, but not having the bushing kind of messes everything up. Although then again, the switch will be in the same place regardless of the bushing, so I'll be able to test it. And the worst case scenario, I got to put the 50 style switch in somewhere. So yeah, I still got a ton of shit to do, you know, and I got to plumb the brake lines and all this and that. But, you know, I'm in the middle of the electrical. I really want to finish it because it's a real pain, and everything just ties into each other. It couldn't be more complicated. It really is, you know, such a job here. And it's just the way I like to do things. But I know it just takes a lot out of you, you know, out of you. It takes a lot of time. And like, you know, days and weeks goes by, like all these door pin switches, I was ready to do everything with all that. Now I'm like, I don't know what the hell. I forgot what I had with those little resistors, with, you know, one-way resistors, and I got to figure out how to do all that, again, all over, but in the car. And, you know, hopefully we got some good stuff going on, though. It really is. I put the cables in right here. And this guy is a little, is it straight? I guess it is. It's not much different than that. And I just have him dangling over there. And what else? I'm probably going to reposition the power steering box up higher. I bought a realistic radio. By realistic, I mean the brand. And I don't know, I got it cheap at a car show. Not sure exactly, you know, if I'm going to use it or not. I just figured it was cheap. Normally you just hook it up to your cigarette lighter, this one. But between the brackets can be here on the bottom or on the top. And I just thought that was a nice touch. It has AM and FM. It's not a cassette, even though like it seems like it wants to move. And it doesn't say eject or anything like that. So I don't know if somebody pushed on it and tried to, you know, mess it up. But then I noticed the ground here is a little funky here. Yeah, so it kind of disconnected, but I guess it's okay if it touches something, but obviously it's just completely disconnected from that. That's an issue. But I gather something can be done to put it in motion here. So we'll see. I just thought, you know, something instead of buying an expensive radio, but maybe we will buy the expensive radio. I don't know. But I figured that it could possibly go where the radio delete part was, because that one actually has its own built-in speaker, and then it has an additional speaker jack. And I was thinking if I can rewire both speakers to make it fit here, but I don't know. It seems like a lot, but then the modern radio that I want to put in, it kind of like will take up more space, but either here or here, you got to figure, because this was the radio delete part, but I think it hung down, and the AC is going to go here. So, but the AC unit that I got, I don't have it in yet. It's a very, very tiny unit because it's the depth. There's no depth in this freaking car. So, and in particular right here, it bumps out where the, you can see where you got a big bump out here where the transmission tunnel is. And that's going to be an issue, you know. So we'll see. What else? Yeah, so like it would be amazing if it, I still think it's about 15 inches wide, so that's only like 12. So probably not. This is a ashtray. It'd be kind of cool if something's in there, but we'll see. Lots of stuff I'm doing here, and everything goes wrong. And then I got to contend with the steering box is loose. I got to make something for this guy. So that's the gist of it right now. But it's going smooth. The owner wants me to be done with the car because now there's going to be movies coming. Everybody's upset at me. Yeah, I can't get any solace from anything. You know, everybody wants everything perfect and fast and cheap, and it just ain't easy being me. Regular relay. Regular relay. So this is a regular relay. This is the special 10-second delay one. Absolutely nothing. Wasted weeks getting it from China. I didn't even check it. I didn't even think I need to. And then when out I'm going to use it, it doesn't work. Doesn't even try to work. So kind of back to square one. I kind of had the wires hooked up. I should have fucking labeled them. That would have been good. But I think ultimately, and it really doesn't help that this freaking delay thing is not working right out of the box. So if I have power going to this relay here, and when I open the door, this is power. It's power. So this would be all the time power, and the ground would. It's permanently grounded now, but it was similar to me opening the door. I'm just kind of turning off the relay by taking off the power. So once the door opens, I got power going to this, which is going to do those green dash lights. This guy has power, which is the solenoid for the interlock solenoid. Okay, and trying to think now, that would always be on. And then I close the door, and then it should be off. Whether it's 10 seconds or not is another story. So we turn off, like I said, for argument's sake, I'm just taking off the power instead of the ground. And so now when I put the key on, I'm trying to think what would power. What would turn this on? I gather, because it doesn't need. So if this is power right here, and let's say I put the power on this side of this guy here, then this should light up. Okay? And there should not be power going back to that relay, which I don't know if there's really any, qualms with that anyway. However, okay, so that's with the key on. My issue, though, is that, so I want to make sure that it turns off when I hit the brake. So with power there with the key on, you have the light on here. And then when you hit the brake, you're putting power. Oops. When you're hitting the brake, you're putting power there. That shuts it off, even though the key is on right now. I have power going to the key on, and it's just shutting off the link. What happened? I'm not on the thing. Okay. So that's hitting the brake. So I got to put power behind that, and then, okay, when, and this is with the key on, it'll shut off the power to this. And then the other thing is when I put this will go to those little green lights. So now there's power to this side. You don't want it to light up this side, obviously. It's not lighting up, it's not lighting up, and it's not lighting up. So it becomes independent, you know. It's in that loop. It's like the power doesn't even need to come here, but it's going to be there because this is going to the light. So it doesn't really matter how it gets there. So that should be okay. And I'm kind of thinking that's it. So I got power to the solenoid with the key on, which I got to put on this side. It's possible. I think I had a wire in here and it came out. I thought there was an orange. I could swear there was an orange wire. So I think it kind of pulled out of that thing that I crimped there. And that's why, because I had a few things going on. This was all over. You know, this is all because of those door switches. I was ready to do all this shit when I had the door switches. And there were, you know, 4 sets of wrong door switches until I finally got the right ones. Oh, it drives you nuts. So I think that's it. Now I'm going to make little labels because that would be fucking smart. Like I've done with everything pretty much, even though I had a bunch of labels that fell off during this time because every time I went to do something, shit didn't work. Now, I have this and I'm wondering if this is everything I made for this and I never really hooked it up. And I made 2 sets of everything and I'm not quite sure why. I think some of them are not. So this is interesting. So now I gotta make a clean thing. Like I might use this guy just because it's cleaner, and I can put my little resistors where I need to in the wire as opposed to right there, because I have the wire that has to feed it in some cases here with the key on. So that'll be helpful. And then once I put these guys in, you know, these labels, I'll have a way better idea of what's going to happen. And yeah, and I was going to put a capacitor, and AI was wrong, and there was nothing I could do to do it. It just left the lights on. It was stupid because the LEDs are so little power. They were, you know, because like when you hit the brake, you get a flash from the little lights. So if this is the green lights and you have this relay on, okay, that light goes on and come on. And the thing is, now I'll shut it off. Oh no, that one stays on. This one shuts off. So I really feel it was just like the initial turn on. You know, they're just low voltage. You know, I didn't even know LEDs were not actually 12 volts. They actually have their own resistors put into them. And if you buy them separately without the wiring, then you got to solder them in. I'm like, oh my God, what a fucking crazy thing. So I think I'm okay. This does not have a 5th thing though. That's the other problem. I think I just realized, but I think I have a connector for that. And none of this needs to be thick wiring at all, so it'll be fine. And either I have the connector or I have something that came from something else that I could use somewhere. So it really won't be an issue. So I'm going to relabel everything and see where I go with that. All right, holding my camera in my legs. Let's hope nothing bad happens. So right now, I have this set up. I put all my diodes where I need to go. There's 2 diodes just like you saw over here. There's one there, and there was one at the end of this guy right here. Sorry, one there and one here. Now I have them all incorporated in this, and ultimately there are several things that have to happen. We got 2 power leads here, the blue and the the red, the black. That black is going to be switched probably through the neutral safety switch at some point, which is going to be the ground. It's going to be shut off because you obviously don't want the solenoid to stay on all the time and only shut off when you hit the brakes. It'll kill the battery. But even then, I set it up so that it only works with the key on, and but it does turn on when you open up the door. So when you shut the door, that's going to turn off. So basically, this would be key on. Okay, so if we have key on, what's going on here? Should I have put it on the other side of the damn thing? I didn't think it mattered, but apparently it does. It's hooked up to that. Is my test light hooked up? Yeah. Don't even tell me I went through all this and I wired it wrong. Oh wait, these have power? Obviously I did this wrong. No, the key being on should have power going here, and then it should feed power in the center. I have the wrong relay. Aha. Yes, it's a 4-pin relay. I've got to use this one. I thought I had another one here though. But just in case I didn't want to take it out. Alright. God damn it. I gotta get another video going. Okay, so I got me another 5-pin relay. I didn't want to take that all apart because just in case. Doing this stuff in real time. Alright, where am I here? Hopefully this is correct. And I very well could have done this on the wrong pin now that I think about it, because I realized that one was opposite. So right now, oh, that's nice. Don't make things, don't fucking cross them and fuck up the goddamn everything. Okay, so that's fucked up. I hope I didn't just fry that fucking thing. Well, we have power. Hang on. Why doesn't this have power? So apparently it's got to be powered to the other side then. Let me just see what happens when I power this guy, because that should run through. Nope. Oh yeah, it does. Okay. Gotta reverse that. Okay, I took my little pin Huya and I took out the thing, I flopped it over. I realized that it's the opposite way, and the thing is, you're so used to hooking it up on the red side, power in, and in fact I moved the blue, and in the end I'm like, I didn't even need the yellow because I had the white. I gotta just use that, but I made the connector, it's fine. So ultimately we got power coming in here. When you have power coming in, I didn't think I was, it would have been better if I tested this properly. This is bringing power, so that's with the key on. Probably going to have to redo this. Alright, just shits and giggles. This guy's on, and when you power the... So that works to cut that guy off. Thing is, though, it wasn't supposed to give power to the other two. So I'm a little confused with that. Thought I did this all nice. God darn it. Now, this, unless I have the wrong one here. Let's see. Okay. If this is the key on and I have power here. Yeah, I just realized that this is... Oh, that has power on too. What is going on here? Okay, when I put power to that, It does not give me power to this. See, that was supposed to be for the lights. When you put the headlights on, it doesn't feed power to there. What's bothering me? Oh, Jesus Christ! I gotta keep doing this over and over again. I'm so quick to the punch. It's like, what did I do? Yeah, I ultimately wanted, when this gets powered, I want no power to the green lights on the dash. And then oh man, it's so fucking frustrating sometimes. You think you know everything. Alright, redo. Ultimately, this is how I did it before. I twisted them together, I moved them around and bent them around, and then I wrapped everything separately in heat shrink tubing, but apparently I had these guys backwards at some point. So now I got power jumped here. This is the key on. When the key's on, the solenoid, solenoid on, I'm sorry, key on, the solenoid gets power. And then if I hold this like this, and you see that light, and then when you hit the brakes, it turns off, okay? That's what you want. In order to shift it, power has to be off on the solenoid wire, okay? So, and then this power is with the doors open. When you open a door, that one's going to have power, which leaves power to this one, which leaves power to that one, which is still subject to when you hit the brakes, it shuts off. It also gives power to this guy, and this guy will have power going to those little green lights on the dashboard that go through the whole PMW thing. Through this, no, that's going to go directly, and then the PMW thing is the other thing. Never mind. These are 12 volts for those green lights, and then I have the PMW separate thing for that. The power basically goes there, and then you can dim it from there. Okay, and then, okay, if the doors, this would simulate the door being opened. This would be the key on. So let's say, and when the key is on, I don't know if I did this, there is no power here. And there's no power to those little lights, because you don't want those little lights to turn on with the key on. Okay? When you have power here, when you have the door open, then you have power everywhere. Okay? That's what you want. And then, if you have the door closed, and the key could, I guess the key could be on, but, or the key will be on, but let's say, it's not on. Obviously, when the key is on, it's not a problem. The main thing is you don't want, basically, with the key on, you're not putting power to the green lights on the dashboard, and it's going to be independent, by the way. So, like, meaning the green lights will turn on, but not the dashboard lights. That's a whole different thing, So now I got power. This is going to be now power running from the headlight switch to turn on the green lights, in addition to the other lights that are on the behind the cluster. So obviously there's power here, no power here, no power here. That's what you want, just so it can run independently. All right. Now I got to wrap this up. So I didn't tear this apart. I almost want to. I feel like I did it right, but I'm wondering if I went a little too hard on these guys are supposed to take plenty of heat, but it's possible I went a little too far trying to shrink it all, and I killed them. And I don't know what happens when you kill it, if it just stays open or closed, So again, this is the one with the key on. You have the key on, you have no power to the other two. Meaning with the key on, you don't want the little lights to show up, to shine on, which I believe is this one. And obviously you don't want the power to feed back to the door. This is when you open the door. When you open the door, everything should be on. See? Boom. And boom. On, and on. And the only thing that can shut it off, obviously, is power to this blue wire, which is the brake pedal. So when you get brake pedal power, oh, I don't have the ground hooked up, but it'll work. And the ground is right here. And ultimately, power there. Yeah, it's a shitty connection here. Just want to do it, hitting the thing and not making it click and not having the bad connection, So that should work. I'll button it up some more, and I'm done with that. Put some zip ties here because this thing is a pain in the ass, so hopefully this helps, because if it's not a problem if they get unplugged. The problem is that we're like going over here and shit, and I'm like, I can't find it. Once you get past this, you can't do anything. So this guy kept falling over here, so now it ain't going nowhere. Can't. They can be knocked out, and hopefully I can still get them in, because they're a pain in the ass to get back in, but that's fine. It's doable, so I think I'm ready to put it in. Still waiting for that bushing, but I don't think it's going to be a problem to put it in. This, I don't have the thing that holds in all this stuff for the, the rubber thing that holds in. I'm putting in one wire for the supposed washer. I have the cable, and I have the oil line going through there. I took it out of there, and hopefully this will all be okay, and it won't really get in the way and whatnot. I'll try to bend it in my favor closer to this, obviously without trying to hit anything. Of course, I wrapped it, as you can see. Should not hit anything, no matter what. And I think this is going to go in now, hopefully. Okay, it's actually in. All the bolts, everything's in. I realized that if you pull on this, you will yank out the bulbs for the thing, so I'm going to tie this up, make it incorporated with a thing on one of the bolts here. That was a little unseen thing with the zip ties, particularly on this side. The three over there I probably went a little too overkill. I probably didn't need to do all that, but it is what it is. I don't think it's going to come out now that it's like this. I got no light on this phone. Hang on, I'll show you what happened here. So ultimately, you can see that switch right there. It's with the plug on it, at least. It looks like it's going to hit some things. I gather part of my harnesses are here, and I can play with it, but it's kind of hitting that other thing too. It may be down further technically also, but it does not appear to help. It's over too far on this side, just slightly. And you can see, like, I don't have that other thing hooked up, and it's going to be a little bit of an issue to hook it up, but it's not looking like it's going to work. It seems better without that plug on it, but if I were to not use that plug, I'd have to just, do connectors, which is probably fine. I can also bend these. It's something I really don't want to do. This is a very convenient brake light switch, to be honest. So I might try it since I bought it, and I'm not going to return it. So I might just try to bend the tabs and just put flat connectors coming out the side. It might be fine then, because all this won't be hitting, And I think I kind of did it without it, and because it was separate, it may even work straight on but I would still have to get 90-degree angle things, because, you don't want this, even these are kind of exposed, to a degree, so wouldn't want it to hit anything, but ultimately, not sure if this is going to work, really. We shall see. Let's see what I can see here. So, without this, and don't forget there's a bushing in here, so that bushing, I gather it's it's more, it makes the, come on, get out of my way. Ugh. It makes the brake pedal, see right now that's all the way there, so I'm trying to think, if I put the bushing in, does it make it more centered like that, or does it push it out further? Because right now, the bushing would, yeah, I wonder if it technically brings it in, because then that kind of fits, but it's also very close to turmoil. I mean, I'd have to maybe do some tests. I can't quite see. It's wrapped around something there. Let me try to move that. Hang on, let me put that one down. I don't know if I made this worse by zip tying things. Never fails, because I could have just shut off the damn video. And granted, this would be over more technically. Hang on. See, that's still not all the way on. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that thing had to be in. Of course, I don't have the keyway on it. It's still kind of in the way. Looks like it's right in line with kind of chopping it in half, which is what you don't want. And I'm just trying to figure out, is this the wire for the wipers? Something else? Part of the cluster? I can't really, just pull it down. Come on. Yeah, I guess that wire is part of that. I mean, it seems to make it, you know. I don't think I think it's moving ever so slowly when I pull up on it. And it's not the bottom one, it's the top one, if anything. There's a few wires. Yeah, there we go. I just lifted them up. And yeah, I don't think it hits when I have the wires up here. The thing is, it's like, how do you prevent somebody else from making a mistake if it has to be replaced? It's not the best. It looks like it can like just ground out on that thing. See, normally, if I didn't have that thing there, it would be not an issue. But I largely don't think it's hitting. Well, it was pushing the cluster, like when I was holding this. It was pushing when there were wires behind it. But I'm really wondering if I can just bend that and put a connector on it, it'll be fine. So, I had to push on the pedal to actually get it out, because it'd be too tight otherwise. So basically, we're looking at this top one here. And if it got bent all the way over, perhaps it'll work, or maybe bent that way would be better, but I really can't see it then, and I'm not quite knowing what it could hit at that point. I don't think it'll hit anything, but there are some more wires and stuff. So yeah, look at that. I just bent it with my finger a little bit. I mean, honestly, that would take care of a lot of problems, and just for good measure, I can bend this one as well. You know, and I can put, 2 straight connectors on that. Although I don't know how much that one is really going to hold. I don't know if I had a wire here. I had like an orange wire that had a connector on it of some sort. Yeah, I was playing around with this guy. It always happens every time. Anyway. Yeah, what I can do, there's a couple of things I can do. I mean, obviously it doesn't help when somebody would have to change it, let's say. But I can technically solder something to this to make it better, perhaps. I just bent it more. You bend in on this, which is kind of what it did. It has like a double bend in that. But if you can imagine, if I put something a little more permanent on this with a connector of some sort, and I'm not really terribly worried about it. So, like, this is an insulated one, but if I put a non-insulated one and it touches everything, it wouldn't matter. I mean, obviously you don't want it to touch the body, but I'm talking about the thing there. And if there was a way to keep it on, I mean, it can be kept on with tape, to be honest. I mean, I can go more crazy on the other one. I mean, this really would probably solve all my problems. And like I said, if I made it with small bits of wire and wrap it in tape so it's not actually meant to come out from here and come out from a secondary plug of some sort, I think it'll work, Let's see. Yeah, because this is the only thing that's, it's like, I guess you'd have to open the lines of the master cylinder to get this in somehow. Maybe not. There's probably a couple of different ways to do this. Still not getting that guy all the way on, which it's probably due to it doesn't have the bushing, because I lost the one that I fucking bought. There we go, I got it on now. So that's on, and when you look at it there, I mean, I got everything blocking me at any given time. Come on. Because I gotta get closer to see it. Might have to be insulated, but you know what? I wonder if Ford made another switch that this could work for, with like soldered connections that came off it, like the lengths of wire extended to it. I don't see it being a huge problem. Even if I just left it like this, even if I didn't put any connectors on it like that. Let me see something. My only problem is when I bend it, I fold it in on itself, and then you really can't. It doesn't really go on all the way. And if it doesn't go on all the way, then it's kind of going to be cheesy. And it's close to the thing here. Yeah, so ultimately, okay. Yeah, now it's stuck. Oh, curl up. Yeah, so this guy kind of protects it from that. Of course, if it was technically hitting there, it would be an issue. but not sure if I can solder a connection to that, and then just wrap the thing in tape. It should work. That way I can really flatten it out. I got a skinny non-insulated one, but even a skinny non-insulated one might just go on it just fine, and it'll be fine. And then wrapping it with tape will prevent it from coming off. That really is the thing. I can also wrap it in, I have some big pieces of heat shrink, but I don't know if heat shrink is, I mean, it'll go around it this way, but it may not prevent, anything from being seen on the outside end, contact with the outside end. I think this is going to work one way or the other. These two are gripping very nice. I really don't see an issue with it. I got it on pretty darn far. As you can see, the gold goes all the way up to the silver part. I just don't think this is going to be an issue. And some tape. And, these are pretty good connectors. And then I'll crimp these on. And I'll put heat shrink tubing all the way to the ends, perhaps. And then just in case, wrap some tape around it. I think it'll be fine. Home like this, fuck it. So after doing this, and I'm like, I still have to run these somewhere. And I'm like, I got this. Why don't I just fucking use this? And therefore it'll stay with the car. It'll be easy to disconnect, where people will realize it and not yank on it or get anything else in the way of it. So I'll just put two more connectors on this. What are you going to do? I think that's the best way. And I'm just trying to think now, do I want to pull? I guess despite everything, I want this on the harness side, so pulled down, and this one will be up, but hopefully somebody holds it while they're pulling on it. So other than that, I think that's as best it's going to get, and it'll be good. Alright, so this is what I got. I put heat shrink around those two. And I left this freaking thing in the goddamn car, and half of them you can see that it's like deformed looking. It's supposed to be new. Yeah, they basically shrunk a bunch of them. So I think that'll work. I got the tape. I'm going to tape it all up, and I think it'll be good to go. I think it'll work. And I should get the bushing tomorrow, but probably can't put it on tomorrow because it'll probably come too late. And I'll be working on this white Cadillac. Not that I filmed anything on it, but I just wanted to, what do you call it? Bounce back and forth between the cars I got to fix and stuff. I guess the only thing I would have done differently, there's a thing here that goes into the, that plug that I was trying. It locks into this. I could have probably broken that off, grinded it off or something. It's really not in a way, but it would have made it look a little cleaner here. And I think it prevents it actually, if something was to hit and rub in over time, it kind of prevents it from happening. So I'm happy with this. This really won't be so bad. Not too shabby. Alrighty, things are coming along. This thing here, looks like I bent a little. I just bent it back. Alright. And hopefully that what I didn't affect anything here. It shouldn't, because the switch is on this side. It's fucking hard to push this, but yeah, it's free. I'm only moving one side, obviously. That's funny, I can't do two fingers of that. But yeah, I'm pretty confident that's going to work just fine. And that's it.